This is Ouch My Wallet, hosted by Robert Simmons, a production of the TFYLP Network. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ouch My Wallet, part of the TFYLP Network. As usual, I'm your host, Rob, and with me tonight we have Mr. Peter.
Forever Destron.
And Ms. Anna.
Good evening.
So, I don't know about you guys, but I have a ton of shit. I use a thing on my phone called 17 Track, which I don't know why it's 17, but it can track numbers from anywhere. You know, and if you buy a lot on eBay, and it's a good way to keep it all together, right? And I had like 8 or 9 things at once because they were coming from China, and so they were all delayed to different degrees, but then they all hit within like a week. So like,
that's good.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, but I won't be able to get through it all tonight. It's crazy.
I don't have that many things. I have that many things, but I only have like 4 on my desk.
Well, I know you've been super duper excited, so why don't you kick it off?
I have been excited. Oh, are you sure you want that?
I absolutely want that. I enjoy your knockoff garbage.
Yeah, well, it is going to be the night of the living knockoff garbage. That'll be great. So let's see, what to go first. Such a hard decision. I'm going to talk about the weirdest thing first because, well, do you guys like to talk about the big things or the small things first?
We don't have to bury the lead here. We can come out of the gate swinging. It's up to you.
All right, well, I'll come out of the gate strangely. So my first one is this thing. Is my lighting too dark?
No.
The
one I'm holding up is a very skinny robot man with a shield that says police on it. His job is to fold into
rectangle.
That is what he can do. He's also extremely articulated. It's a what?
Rock Lord.
I wish it was a Rock Lord. I mean, it transfers into a rectangle, so I guess that's about as close as we get to Rock Lords these days. It is a release from MFT that they called E-Box Minority, which is a knockoff of 1000 Toys Robox, which is a new independent design made by a designer, an artist, who wanted to make a strange, very skinny robot that transfers into a rectangle.
So this is a line of things.
Well, it is a line of thing. As far as I know, they've only put out 1 Robox. I think. I believe they've put out 1 Robox, and MFT, McFan Toys, has put out 1 E-Box. So I guess there's 2, because they're significantly different. The official one is green, kind of in a more like military scheme, and this one is blue in a police scheme. And I guess it transforms into like a barrier, is like their thoughts on it, because it does turn into just a rectangle, and you put the shield on one side, so it's kind of just a box you can put anywhere.
Get it?
Or you can just think of it as a small thing you can carry in your pocket. That's what the original. I read through the like logic of the original toy, and it was like it transforms into a nice pocket-sized rectangle. And then you can take it in, have it on your desk, which all of us have way too much on our desk anyway. But yeah, so this thing was actually a gift from a friend, so it's really out his wallet, not mine. But it is something that I had completely forgotten about. MFT released this like a year or 2 ago, and I knew I liked it. But, you know, there's no justification for me as a Transformers collector or an anime toy collector or anything to buy this weird skinny robot guy who turns into a rectangle. Unless, of course, you want to go with it's kind of like a Rock Lord description. So my justification now is I got it as a gift, which by my personal rules, I can never sell it. So I have to keep it forever.
I mean, you could give it away again, right? That's not selling. Not that you want to.
It's evil.
But so, Robox because it's a robot box?
Yeah. You see it has an amazing face sculpt. It's just a camera. And on top of the head, it says Atlas, which I think might be its name. So it's fun. It poses super well.
This and the original, I guess, have completely missed my radar. It's neat. I like it.
Yeah, I think it missed a lot of people's radars.
I mean, as you all know, I am into shape formers with my latest Beast boxes here. That went over the show last time, but yeah, I do like basic shapes. I don't know why.
Yeah, you might want to check it out. It's pretty cool.
Is it fun?
I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, the transformation is awkward because it folds into a rectangle, so it's not exactly amazing as a transformer. But it's very durable. It has a lot of joints on it, and it comes with a riot shield accessory, and also these gun doohickeys that peg onto his legs. And as opposed to like every toy we ever talk about, he doesn't hold it with like a peg or anything. He just kind of clamps his little hands onto it, which he's not doing a very good job of because I can't really see too well from the single.
Give him the clamps.
I was on a unrelated but related to your clamps comment. I was on a work Zoom meeting today with like an external client, and I didn't think about it, but my icon on Zoom for whatever reason comes up as Pimperoo from an episode of Futurama, and so I was just like, I wonder what they think about that. Nobody said anything.
No one's
knows.
It'll be okay.
You know what really worries about those things these days?
Yeah. Like
he's just got these little clampy guns.
I mean, to be honest, I've grown really sick of the peg in the hand style of gun. Like
I am too.
I don't think it's as great as every toy designer thinks it is these days. Yeah, I mean, if it's done well, it's fine, but you always gotta.
Yeah, it depends on the execution.
Like usually the thumb
real bad execution
is awkward weird, so you have to like lean and angle it in, and then like force it around to get to snap in.
When you have to press it against the thumb is the worst. It's like, oh god, is this plastic any good? Because here we go.
I'm about to find out. It's like even great toys, it's all anybody knows how to do anymore.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. So this is clever, original, it's different. If you want something really weird in your collection, it's not a super cheap toy by any means, but it is reasonable.
I assume the Mech Fans toys isn't too bad, right? Because
I think it's like probably somewhere between $30 and $40, depending on where you find it. The original was like $65 to $70, though, so it's if you don't want to buy a KO, which I can't advise people on not buying KOs. Yeah, that's him. That is item number 1.
Very cool. All right, Peter, you want to go next, or you want me to go?
I'll go, I guess.
Go.
I'll do my knockoff garbage out the gate. I placed an order from Sir Toys, and it was disappeared for a long time, and then it showed up. And one of them, it's the MechFan Toys Dragon or whatever. They're tiny Omega Supreme.
Oh, so good.
Oh yeah.
But he's all disassembled over in the lab. He's getting painted up as Omega Supreme because I have love for that, and a smaller Omega Supreme in ridiculous colors will sit nicely with my 1990-ish guys. Anyway, but in that order, I also picked up the oversized was it Slash, the Dino.
That sounds
Slash.
Yep.
Yeah, and so she's a little bit bigger than the regular one, so she's like, I don't know, maybe a centimeter taller, whatever. But I already had the oversized Dinobot set from Black Mamba, so I guess this is Black Mamba. And then thrown in the box for funsies was this tiny Micromaster Not Quite Swindle or Detritus? I don't know.
I mean, that doesn't look like it's obviously like knockoff
it's like
quality. I can tell that from here.
It's full on junk.
But is it its own thing?
Yeah, it's its own thing. He's got a really stupid face, and
that is really bad. It looks kind of like a little bit of like the crappy McDonald's or the Wendy's mini bots that are like super rare and expensive, but they're garbage.
Those are actually GoBots.
But
there's 5 of them, and I have them loose and packaged. There's like Oddball and Twin Spin or twin something. There's a double-bladed helicopter, a really crappy jet, like flap arms, and really ugly like spaceship guy. Yeah, those are actual licensed GoBots. 1985. and they came in on little cards, which is fantastic. You should get those.
I haven't ruled it out, but I haven't felt motivated to hunt them down because they're so expensive,
Yeah.
especially for what they are.
Yeah.
Like that. Then I find it weird when they make, an obvious knockoff toy and knockoff quality, but it looks original.
Yeah, it's got like new tooling. It's weird that they would spend money on tooling for something that is such hot trash.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like those they have those ones at like Dollar Tree. They're just called Robot. Have you seen those? And
No.
they're original molds. I don't know where they're from, but they are that shampoo bottle plastic. It's a series of little guys that are Micromaster to GoBot size. They're awful.
You don't have Robot, Rob?
I have a lot of Robot.
I have a full set of Robot in my garage. I should just send it to you, Rob. You need it.
Sorry, I'm not a real collector. I'm not a true fan if I don't
You don't have
the
Robot.
entire line of Robot.
I'd have some spares. I'll send them your way.
Here you get 2 boxes
man.
of Robot. One from Anna, one from Peter.
Talking about Omega Supreme, I would 100% buy if they made an official release in those god-awful colors. But I don't know if more than like 10 people
That's
would,
the thing is I
you know?
waited about a year before I placed the order. I'm like, they're going to do Supreme. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. Then they did the Guardian colors, and then they did the Omegatron or whatever, the black.
The not
the toy box version.
Pre-Transformers.
They did those colors, and I was like, well, why are they doing that and not Supreme? Supreme would sell. Screw it. I'll just buy one and make my own. So I was on the fence for a long time, and then I finally pulled the trigger. So now that I'm working on it, he's getting paint on him, and as soon as I get ready to seal the paint, they're going to release it because that's how it goes. And then you guys can
Thank
get
you
one.
for your sacrifice.
I'm here to help.
We've got 3 who would buy it right here. So.
Yeah. All right. So was that it for your Sir Toys
Yes.
batch? Okay. All right. I'm going to go the opposite start with I don't know. This thing is ridiculous. It is the Toy World Optimus Prime based off the Bumblebee movie. This thing has gotten mixed reviews. If you follow the internets, but a lot of people, especially when something's expensive, anything anyone can find to complain about it, to say, oh, it's garbage, to justify why they didn't buy it instead of just, I didn't want to spend the money on it. I don't think it's that great, which is fine. So I do find the complaints way over exaggerated. That said, is it perfect? No. Is it still awesome and impressive? Yes. And I got the deluxe version, which comes with a crap ton of guns, and like they light up and pew pew and have sound effects, and if you hold they do different. And they have 2 or 3 guns that do that. Like this one's even bigger, for whatever reason. It gets more ridiculous. It comes with 2 boxes for some reason. You peg them together. It's simple, but like you can store the extra accessories in here. So sure, that's a thing, right?
This is the deluxe boxes.
Yes, but everything is painted except the stand, which I'll show you in a second. Everything else is painted like. Even the boxes here have this gunmetal paint all over them.
Yeah, it uses terrain.
Yeah, if you open it up, you can see, oh, that's just flat black in there. But, it's all painted super heavily, which is something I'm very into. So it kind of goes with their, the rest of their FS line, which this one I don't think is in the FS line itself, but it's another one of their movie lines. But just like their FS line where they did Bulldog and they've done a Bumblebee toy and they got more coming and they're making the Starscream combiner. All of those are just heavily detailed paint or whatever. And then here's the stand, which is insanely huge, has 4 spotlights, and has really terrible sound effects, which I'm not going to play because it could get a long clip, but and it comes with a remote, so turn it on, that would probably help. So there's half the lights on and there's the other half, so you can light up half of it and have him spotlight up and on the stand. And even kind of more impressive, so this thing on the back has a plug, which the guns also have a plug. My understanding is that they're rechargeable batteries. And so if the batteries are died, you can just plug it in and let them charge up, and it keeps going. And I don't know, I think that's awesome and that's pretty amazing.
Is it like a USB plug or?
Mm-hmm. Or yeah, it's like a micro USB or whatever it is.
Okay.
Yeah. You could probably use your cell phone charger, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's the same type of thing. Um, nah, I don't know. It's the first toy I've ever bought that has a remote, and it actually works. But yeah, if you press the middle button, it just plays straight up sound clips from the Bumblebee movie. Like some of them aren't even prime. Like one of them is, Soundwave saying "Ravage eject." Why does that say that on a stand made for Optus? I have no idea. Is it? I don't know. But and like some of them, they like to do like the overlong clips, and it's got all the background noise in it. It's a really dumb thing, but it's funny and it exists. Okay. On to the star himself, and of course his eyes light up as well. Um, Press it and they do the thing. And then,
How
yeah,
tall is he?
extremely. I mean, I'm a big dude. I'm 6'5". I was trying to think what I have over here. Everything I have over here is spoilers, and I'm not two yet. Uh,
Is
this
he
is my
bigger than
snot rag
MP01?
box.
Ah, yes,
Oh,
the Kleenex box.
yeah.
Like
He's probably
MP01 size or smaller than that, larger than
he
that?
might be a little small. Oh wait, I gotta
Hey, there.
here. He is approximately a foot tall,
Okay.
something like
Wow,
that.
that's large.
That's impressive,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's ridiculously huge. He's extremely well articulated, and everything is extremely well painted. Um, the to get the flaws out of the way, this is the dumbest thing I've seen. The hands are only on a ball joint, and he does have some like pointing finger hands you can put on too, but they're just on this little crappy ball joint. So when you put a weapon in there, the hand just turns around. You
Oh,
know,
it spins?
yeah, it's a
Ugh.
ball. Like you're not gonna be able to see it on my webcam worth of crap, but any review will show it. That is a really dumb idea. It should be pegged in and should be a hinge swivel or a mushroom peg or something to that nature. So what you do is when you put the gun in, which of course pegs into the side, um, you just kind of like have it rest in a way where the friction holds it up so it doesn't droop. So like you can pose it, you can get what you want out of it, but that is a really dumb decision for especially a toy that's honestly kind of this impressive to me. Um, he comes with alternate parts for his sides. You can put in wiper blades as well, and he has different rubber tire treads you can use, and these covers here will pop off, and that's all to make it look like it's his Earth mode or his Cybertron mode. So here he's with all the Cybertron bits to make him look like he did on Cybertron. So that's why like I don't have the wiper blades in. But you can do that if that's your thing. So it's cool that it's just some plug and play parts. Um, but the risks are probably the biggest thing. The second thing people really don't like is that there's a lot of articulation in the top half of him. Like he's got an ab crunch and he can kind of flex up and back, but for that it doesn't peg in.
Mm.
So it kind of floats, but it keeps where you want it to keep. As soon as you get it articulated and posed, it's not like it's going to go anywhere, but it doesn't give you that nice snapped it together, I'm done, thing that a lot of people want. And my arm's getting tired from holding it. Um, like I think there's diecast in here somewhere. I don't know. Either way, he's heavy. He's a big boy. Um, the transformation, a lot of people find it a nightmare. It's really the big moves aren't the legs are easy. Start with that. The legs are simple. And the back end of it in truck mode doesn't look great because especially the feet are just hanging off the back. It's not anything to write home about other than like again it's just lathered with detail. Um, but the inside of the chest, it's a lot like MP1's transformation.
Mm.
I
Like
love that one.
like you can see even here if I open it up, that's the side of the wheels
Hmm.
in there that come out just kind of like MP1 did. Um, and so it's very similar in that in the broad strokes of how it transforms, but all throughout it there's stuff that the clearance isn't there. So you just kind of have to keep like, and it's not like anything's going to break or anything, but it's somebody that doesn't like to use instructions.
Yeah.
You
Paint
know what I'm
scraping
like?
and stuff.
No,
No?
no, paint's good. But it's just it's if something has to force past something a little bit, it's not intuitive at that point. It's like, oh, this probably I must be doing something wrong, and then it's like, nope, that's how you do it. And the instructions only shows like 30 steps, and it's all on one page. So it's a lot like, oh, just move that to there. Well, that doesn't tell you you're going to have to kind of bend that around and squeeze it around to do it. It skips out all that type of stuff. Um, so yeah, the transformation's not great. I probably won't transform it too much anymore, which made some people say, well, then I would just rather buy the 3A one or something. But I think even at the deluxe version, this is I think cheaper than the 3A one is. and it's I don't know, it's super detailed. Like at the end of the day, it's impressive. It's definitely like a notable point. The ball joints kind of suck on the hands, or they completely suck on the hands. Everything else, though, I've been pretty darn happy with it, and it's just I don't know, it's excessive. It's it's overdone. It's ridiculous in its own way. Like I like ridiculous, silly stuff. This is ridiculous on the other end of it, just because of how much it came with, and just how detailed it is. It's one of those I think you really got to kind of see in person to really appreciate how detailed the toy is. Come on, get to standing. And John asks if you can thicken the ball joints with floor polish. I probably should do that, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think it'll help, but it's just that's a bad design for a hand. You don't put the end of a hand on a ball joint that has complete free movement like that. It has no stability to. Because again, he's a foot tall, and this gun is longer than he is tall. His sniper rifle. I guess if you put him in prone position, which he'll totally go in prone position and snipe people, because that's a thing Prime does all the time, right?
Movie Prime.
Movie Prime what? I'm gonna shoot off your face and then go grab it. But yeah, so that I think is the biggest real complaint. Other than again, the transformation could have used some more clearances. But yeah, he's ridiculous. I definitely recommend him though if you're into highly detailed toys. Ultimately, so
I really like that stand. Stand is really cool. Like I know it's over the top with all the buttons, the remote, and all that, but just the lights and the way it's set up, like
four
that's really cool.
spotlights on him. Yeah, it's silly.
I have a few figures I would like to have on a spotlight stand like that. So if I could just buy those.
I can see the stand getting knocked off and then applied to other, releases or whatever, or just on its own.
Perfect. Yeah. Then I can buy it.
Yeah, and it's the only thing on here that isn't painted for whatever reason. So yeah, maybe at some point they'll make extra stands. Right now, the only way to get the stand is if you spend like an extra $10 or $20 over the basic version of this toy, which again has some extra weapons and like the case thing, the box thingies for whatever. So yeah, it comes with a bunch of axes. It comes with 2 big axes that they transform and make a shield. Like here's half of it. The other one's in one of the boxes. So other one makes another half, and you shove it together, and it's just really huge. Everything about it's stupid. It's just over the top. I don't know. I was blown away it's ridiculous. Yeah.
I want to play with it.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. I don't want to transform it. I'd like to play with it and pose it.
You could have played with it, Peter. We hung out on Friday?
Friday, yeah.
Yeah, and then it came Saturday.
Yep. Okay, 1 second. Got to tell the kids.
Okay. All right, so Anna.
All right. Well, I will take a turn to the ridiculous. And I've decided to use themes to switch from figure to figure. So this is a really gangly, very posable robot that transforms into a non-traditional thing because he's a rectangle. And I'm worried by a second one.
I was wondering if that was going to enter the conversation.
Like, why do I have this bright yellow garish watch on?
That's Mean Time.
Yeah, it is. It is a knockoff of Mean Time.
But with working parts?
No. Still not a working watch face. I actually thought it was because I opened it right around 3:09. And I was like, oh, wow, the time's almost set right. That's cool. And no, it is not working. So if anybody doesn't know, there was that Real Gear line. It was actually the first movie, right?
Yes.
Where they made these like really inventive real world objects. And one of them was a watch named Mean Time. And it was a, very plastic, very wearable, if you have small enough wrists for it, watch that you could play with that actually transforms into a really strangely posable figure. You'll see here, he is ridiculously jointed. And this is just something my friend sent me that I would have never asked for or wanted specifically, but now I can't live without it because it's just preposterous. I love me a good, hideous knockoff.
That looks like the most Sir Toys thing I've ever seen. Or as Sir Toys things as Sir Toy thing. Is that where it came from, or do you have any idea of its origin?
I have no idea where it came from. I have no idea. He was telling me that he bought it with the intention of giving it to me and then had to buy another one because he liked it so much.
Okay, I don't think Meantime had the weird feet like that, did he?
Nope.
His
I
feet
don't
is
think
a
so.
little different. I think
They
his
were
feet is a
they were
little,
double wide like that.
got some really big chicken feet. He's got his little bird toes.
Like, I mean, mine's over on the shelf, but like, I feel like that maybe that foot part is supposed to bend backwards and be like a heel for him or something, maybe like on the original, and they probably just simplified it for the knockoff.
It actually stands better with them backwards, kind of, a little bit. So this is definitely something you can buy on the internet for a few dollars. It comes in a lot of different colors. Yeah, those are different
And so
feet.
yeah, looks you can
Yeah.
see how it folds around.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say I had the original Meantime, and I wore it. I used to be active duty military, and I wore it, on my wrist to work, and I got yelled at because it was against Air Force Instruction 36-2903, dress and appearance standards. So, yay, they took my robot. I got it back at the end of my shift, but it was okay to have robots on the desk, but not on my person. Whatever.
Can you wear watches though?
Oh yeah, you can wear watches as long as they're not too flashy. They have to have a black band or a brown band or silver, depending on which uniform you're wearing.
Oh.
There are rules. Robots aren't one of them. I love the yellow though.
Like, I remember the camera. Now
Mhm.
the shattered glass version
That was
of
reflector.
yes, but it was
Yes.
done in Bumblebee colors. And I was thinking, like, if they've knocked off that other guy, it actually could be repurposed as shattered glass reflector.
Yep.
Good.
What's
So
funny is
this
that,
thing is it's fun.
like, the what is it using for the clock face? Because from the webcam, it actually looked like it's an actual LCD panel to me.
I haven't actually investigated to figure out what it is. Like I'm guessing it's like a printout of an LCD
Okay,
panel because it looks very much
It
like a
really
real
does.
one.
It's like shiny. It has that like recessed
yeah,
look. I don't know.
Yeah, it even appears to have a little piece of plastic film over it, like you would get when you buy a new watch,
got it.
which is a weird impersonation of a real watch, but it definitely does not work 'cause the time has not changed in the 24 hours or so I've owned it.
Knock
So,
off
Wait,
on
if you've owned
every
it for
level.
24 hours, it's still correct then.
haha, there you
On the
go.
minute.
There you go. The one problem, of course, I mean, okay, there's a lot of problems. It's a cheap knockoff. It's a cheap toy. It's fun. It's amusing. It's gonna live on my shelves forever. I might end up adding some paint to it just because it is literally just yellow.
Yeah.
Like there is no detail on this thing
Hey, hey,
whatsoever.
hey, his
It
face
is
has
yellow.
a symbol, an illegal symbol on it, and a couple of silver
Yeah, man, the
bits.
watch face does have an Autobot symbol on it.
That could be Emirate Zaron.
There you go. It's a deep cut. It's from Marvel UK for those who don't know. Did he wait? No, he showed up in the US comic near the end,
He
didn't he?
showed up in the U.S. at the very end with a slight deco change because Nel Yomtov didn't know how to color anything, and then he showed up as he showed up on the Lost Light during the More Than Meets the Eye series as
Oh,
like
an Easter
like
egg.
yeah, just hanging out every once in a while. Yeah.
So problem number two with it, I guess, like it's all yellow. Problem number two is that it does have a watch fastener on it. I think it is different than the original. The way it fastens, it's just these little balls go into these little holes. They actually don't peg or stick in at all. So, it'll sit with friction for a minute, but it will fall off of you. Now, there's enough friction in the rest of the toy that he probably won't fall off your arm. Of course, he's very small. So, again, like a lot of people wouldn't be able to wear him if they had him. And then the last problem is this part doesn't peg in either. But you know what? Like Rob said, it's like the most stir toys thing ever. It's just like this cheap thing you grab, you put in your cart because it looks amusing, and you end up having more fun with it. Kind of like a cat in a box, right? So like you get the toy out, and then you end up playing with the piece of junk that came with it. So that's kind of where I am right now in my life.
You say cat in a box. It's also children. I can't.
Yeah, I've heard of that, but I have no experience with those.
I mean, my
My cats were
10-year-old.
just playing in a box over here a minute ago.
Like, if I get a big box from like Big Bad or something, I wait a while and ship the pilot. My 10-year-old still is like, "Oh, can I have the box?" And I'm like, "For the weekend," because otherwise it'll live in the living room for months. like him, like you can play with for a little while, and I want to get rid of the box because it'll just stay around. She'll decorate it and then hide in it and play in it and playing it with her sister. It just I don't know why we buy them things.
You
Just
love a good box.
yep, imagination. All right, Mr. Peter.
Okay. Next, I have something that isn't a Transformer, but it's something I've been chasing for a little bit, and I'm happy to add it to the collection. Um, a little bit of background. I also collect GI Joe and some other stuff, so this is going to end up eventually in my GI Joe collection, and it is uh, this. It's a big green ball. It's a Shadow Raiders or War Planets, as the line was originally called by, I want to say, Trendmasters. Bone Planet or Planet Bone.
Giggity.
And it's supposed to be the home planet for some heroic dudes from a TV show that was animated by Mainframe back in the 90s. And it opens up, and you're supposed to, have your little War Planets dudes hide in there and go defend whatever from whatever. Beast Planet is supposed to be the bad guy.
So did it have like action figures that were like that 3 3/4 scale or whatever? Oh,
No. It came with like little tiny. This is like supposed to be a whole planet, I guess.
Little Mighty Max guys.
Yeah. So this thing looks a lot like, if you're familiar with G.I. Joe canon, the G.I. Joe 1987 animated movie introduced the concept of Cobra Law, which was like the predecessor to the modern Cobra organization. They're actually the guys who sent Cobra Commander into the world to try and take over the world or whatever. And the big reveal, there's a guy sticking out of a ball that flies around like this, and he's Globulus, supreme ruler of the kingdom of Cobra La. It was I who created you, Serpentor. You are mine. Anyway, whole thing. And so anyway, he flies around this ball. They never made a Globulus figure in a ball, and I have a Globulus figure that's in the lab getting painted, but he needs a ball. And the big reveal at the end of the movie is that he's a snake man. His snake tail is coiled up inside the flying ball. So this is going to become the ball for my Globulus figure. Yay. And this,
That's
I got
fantastic.
this. Yeah, I got this. Thank you. I got this from a seller in Australia because everyone's been buying these up for Globulus balls. Globulus flight pods. And
what you're describing honestly sounds like Bowser at the end of Super Mario World.
Yes.
It's clown car.
Very, very similar. Yeah. So yeah, happy to add this. It's part of a project, an ongoing project. I'm always working on customs.
So are you just going to paint it, or are you going to plaster up some of it, 3D print some different shapes on it, sand it down, any of that, or are you going to leave it? The shape is a shape.
It doesn't really need paint, does it?
It doesn't need a whole lot of paint. On the movie, there were a couple of, it had circles. It almost looks like they designed this thing while looking at the movie.
Because
It's crazy.
It up, I was like, oh, it's Globulus's ball thing. I didn't know anyone ever made a toy of that.
Right? And it even has little tentacles. Yeah. There's Globulus's ball thing has little tentacles, little whiskery tentacle things that stick off of it, and has a couple of blue splotches. So I might add some blue. And then that's it. I'm going to cut out this top part, and I bought 2 figures that I'm using for the raw parts for my Globulus. So one's going to be like permanently affixed, so I can just pop his top off and pop him onto Snake Tail or pop him onto the ball. So that's the plan.
Today you learned. Or
it's creative and fun.
All right. Next, you know what? We're going to stick on the theme of stupidly large toys. I know Peter happened to get this one in as well because we were talking about it on Monday. Is
spoilers.
MMC's Helix, right? And I think they call him Moores. Is their name?
Yep.
I think I got that right.
Yep. Moores is Helix.
Yeah. If you've been collecting the DJD line from MMC, they showed Helix and the last one Tesaurus. I can't remember which name
Tesaurus,
that was. Tesaurus.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know what his in toy line name is.
Yeah, but they showed these two off like along with the early parts of the line years and years ago, and they've always said that they're coming. And they were working on them, but I think they refined the sculpt several times. And then of course I think they were also worried about producing a toy this large. It's a lot more investment than smaller toys, especially if you collect MMC, you know that they do a lot of repaints and recolors. and it's pretty hard to find something to repaint the bigger guys into. Like, if there isn't like an obvious ready to go repaint, you know. Um, but yeah, they're finally coming out. First guy's out. The second one's the last guy's due out in not too distant future. I don't think.
It's supposed to be September, so we'll see. September to November, I anticipate they'll start being in hand.
Um, MMC continues to do this thing where all of their transformations are real straightforward, really simple, like but not too simple. Like there's still some puzzle element, but it's
They
not.
feel good.
Yeah, they feel good. He's, I mean, again, it's making my shoulder tired holding him up, but like he's very light. There's no die cast in him. He's just plastic, and I don't mean that in a disparaging way. Just it is. Um, but he's still huge, and he's fun. He's very intuitive to transform. And that's what gets me about their engineering in a good way is that they will achieve both modes pretty accurately to what they're trying to do, and the transformations still say intuitive and like there's not a lot of fiddly bits to transform, and this guy's no different. It's generally big, chunky, purposeful movements, which leads to an intuitive and fun transformation to me. And he has all the detail where he needs it. Like he's not lathered with paint, but he has plenty of accents. Just all over his face, just little gold bits and little silver bits and hot pink bits, and he's got more pieces on his back, painted colors. Like it's actually that's all silver paint there. And, so he's not painted completely by any means, but he's got all the color you want and all the color breakup you want. I don't know.
But he's not entirely comic accurate because you can't fit nickel in his mouth to clean his teeth.
No, you can't do that. So it's rubbish. 0 out of 10. Would not buy. No, he's excellent. I don't know, I just love the design of the whole DJD as well. That was all Alex Milne, just completely pulled it out. Like I know Roberts, wrote the stories and the characters, but I'm pretty sure Alex had pretty wide reign on how they were designed. I don't know if a lot of the wonky stuff, how much of that was collaborated or not, but like I love his extra little arms. I mean, how great is that?
I think Roberts gave him like notes to run with and said, this guy needs a drilly thing in his chest, and this guy needs the mask the way it is, and whatever. This guy has electrodes on his shoulders. Go.
Yeah. So yeah, and the fact that they actually turned these ridiculous designs into actual toys that are, quite accurate and that you can play with. But he's got plenty of articulation. He doesn't. As far as what you might want if you wanted to be really anal retentive, that he doesn't have is like ankle tilt's not super great. He doesn't have a butterfly joint. That's to me that's kind of yeah. It's awesome when you get them. I still don't always expect them, but like he even has an ab crunch, which is pretty amazing. He's sturdy because he took a dive while we were chatting post show on Monday.
I remember that
because my
chair
spun around and I was like, he's fine, he's good. So yeah, it's great. Yes, and Lucas is saying stop trying to get you to buy him. I mean, if you like awesome, fun toys from your favorite fiction ever, then, go ahead and deprive yourself of it if you're a masochist. That's fine. If you know MMC, they make their stuff to order. They don't make a ton of extras. And, so like that doesn't mean retailers don't order extra. Like Big Bad will order more than is pre-order because they know they'll sell them. Within an extent, they got years and years of data on it. But if you want him, probably better get him because I think he is such a big figure. I think they're unlikely to rerun him. So
yeah, and with only one more coming, I know like for MMC historically speaking, I have almost all their stuff. There are a couple things I did miss, and the one that I'm kicking myself still is another one of the big ones. Is Titanica. Their Striker.
I knew you were going to say Titanica.
Every show I go hoping that I'm going to find her. I'm like looking around, never. You never find her. And if she does show up on like eBay or something, she's like $400.
so much money.
And that's a nope.
I want her too, Peter.
Yeah.
I've been looking for years now. It's not going to happen, but I've been looking.
It's so lonely.
It's so cool.
I passed on Titanica, but yeah, no, he's great. Would you agree, Peter? You have anything to add?
I have nothing to add. Okay, comic accuracy. The spot where his Decepticon insignia goes, he has a non-traditional Decepticon insignia just because the way Milne draws his insignias. It's not very big. It's right on the center of his chest on the cockpit. and it's really, you have to put one of those MicroMaster symbols from Reaper labels or something.
That's
That's about it.
something I wish I could like find every party toy designer and just tell them all, think of faction symbols. That's like sometimes they do, and you get nice big spots and it's obvious, but then there's sometimes where it's just like you didn't need that. I understand when it's for transformation and sometimes it just doesn't work out as well as you would like, but sometimes it's just like you just put weird detailing there.
Right there, and you can't put, you can put a symbol over detail, but then if you apply it, with any sort of pressure, then it
Yeah.
gets all weird, and then you're covering up detail that you paid for, and it's like, just give me a small spot. Boop.
Yeah. It's so simple.
Yep.
It's so simple.
But I'm looking forward to the last one. This one, I mean, he's great. He's my friend. He's been, I mean, the others have been waiting for him for a long time, and yeah.
When I redid my room, I have my IDW shelves, and I have a DJD shelf and just general Decepticons as well. And it's always looked empty because I put some big space in the back. I'm like, they're gonna make them. That's where they're gonna go. I'm probably actually, now that I have this guy in hand, it's like, oh crap, probably didn't put enough space. I thought I did, but I don't think I did. So I might have to.
Tassaris is even bigger, I think. I think he's a couple inches taller.
Yeah, and he's
not in the comic, but in the toy.
And he's such a beefy boy. He's thick boy. I don't know. It's gonna be so fun to complete that set too. They're gonna look great together. I actually have the DJD faction symbols from Repro labels. The difference being that they're gold. That's generally how they were colored, and so yeah, I'll figure out somewhere to put it.
Oh, and just Helix's alt mode, just for notes for whoever's listening. He transforms into a collector device, which is what Straxus used to gather up prisoners and throw them in the smelting pool in issue 17 and 18 of the original Marvel run. So, you want to talk deep cuts?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's just a fun alt mode. It's a fun bot mode. It's a fun character. It's a fun team from a fun book that you should buy. All of it.
Did he didn't transform in the comic, right?
He did. I don't know. Maybe he didn't. He might have been in one of the profiles, like concept art in the back.
Like I figured that's where, or I was pretty sure that's where most of the alt modes came from. Is Milne did design them. I think I think I remember actually asking him that at one of a smaller show he was at, and he was saying he designed them and he did make them to transform, which thankfully he didn't just completely just like the G1 cartoon artist that just made stuff up. Like, yeah, sure.
This will work.
That's what Ironhide looks like. Yeah. All right, cool. Back to Anna.
Yeah, that's one time that I actually I mean, I'm not as into that, comic as you are and into that character and whatnot. But that's one time when I feel like the toy actually persuades me more than the character or the idea of it did. Because when I look at that, I'm just like, wow, it makes the little arms fun. It makes everything fun on it. I want to transform it because I know how much fun Tarn is to transform.
Yes.
So I do have him. I have the older ones. I just don't have the newer ones.
When I was talking about his transformation, I was honestly thinking about Tarn because how simple that toy is, yet how effective that transformation is. It is so good. It works so well. I don't know. I still don't understand. It's so simple, but I still don't understand how it works. And I've done it.
Wonderful usage of small amounts of hot pink too. Yeah. That is also on Tarn, so it's cool.
But you got to get it in time for when we review it on Microcasters.
It's tempting. It's tempting. We'll see what Lucas does, because if the three of you have it, that's plenty. I don't need to have it. I've had some expensive things coming, so. And all these fun knockoffs to talk about. So I guess if it's my turn, I'll go from something yellow to something else yellow. That's the theme of the moment. And I think actually one of you might actually, for Lucas, in the chat, complain about us trying to talk him into it. So I think one of you might actually have this particular figure. So this is the oversized knockoff of Power of the Prime Swoop in a yellow color that is available in multiple different ways. I think you can buy it as a set or you can buy them separately. Mine came separate. It was another gift from the same friend who knows my taste in things. I've actually wanted just this one for quite some time now. Not the rest of it, really. Like, I might get the rest of it someday. We'll see. But I really wanted this one. And now I have it. So this is actually pretty large, right? Like this is pretty far scaled up from the original swoop. It's
I,
I think you're just gonna help us with some size
I mean,
comparisons.
that's definitely a at least a Voyager in modern day scaling. you know, throw some
Yes.
extra guns and shoe pad feet lifts for him, and now you got a leader, right? That's the way they
Yeah,
do it.
it's a big birdie. It is a pretty large birdie. I don't think like I looked at the package, I couldn't find them. I don't think it came with the missiles. Yeah, that seems strange to me. It doesn't come with the missiles. It does come with the sword,
Yeah.
and it does come with a gun.
Yep. Everyone in that set came with the same sword and gun over and over and over again.
That
Even
sounds
the
surprising.
slash. Yeah.
And instead of coming with the hand that it traditionally comes with, it actually came with one of the feet that would have come with Grimlock in the original toys. So it was a little bit different. But I really wanted this because of the weird colors they picked. Because I don't think that the colors were in any way random. You know, a lot of people called them Power Rangers inspired because a few of them matched the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers colors. However, this one and the Grimlock and the Slug, Slag, whatever, the Triceratops all match the original three characters from Abba Ranger, which is Power Rangers Dino Thunder in the US. And just so happens that the yellow Abba Ranger is the first character I ever cosplayed at a convention.
Aw.
So when I found out that they made one of my favorite Transformers into the robot piloted by a character that I cosplayed, I was super excited and knew I had to have it and just never got the chance to get a hold of it. So, you know, it's pretty much like it's not a perfect rendition because there would be, you know, the more traditional diamonds on the wings. But, you know, the face is pretty much obviously made to look like it, and the paint scheme is pretty much obviously made to look like it. I would buy the whole set if they had made the last two members the right colors because they just went random with the colors of the last two, the snarl and the sludge. And they don't match the Abba Ranger colors, which is such a disappointment because they could have, and then I would have straight bought that set like day one. But I just think it's really fun to have.
That's a pretty awesome little story with it. That's fun.
Hmm.
Weird, obscure self
Like
reference.
I would have just
I
thought they just randomly made it yellow because that's what knockoff companies do.
think
Yeah.
so.
I don't think it was random because if they were trying to match like the original Mighty Morphin, the
They,
Zoo
Like
Ranger,
pink.
they would have done pink. Yeah. And there would have been other. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that was on purpose. But why they didn't finish it? Hi, Kitty.
Yeah, why the
Why they
other
didn't finish
two?
it? I don't know.
It was just so frustrating because I was like, when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, I know what the other two's colors are going to be too. And then I looked at it, I was like, oh, wait, I don't know what their colors are going to be.
Always.
Oh, we have a comparison coming.
Okay. So for comparison, this is the oversized knockoff Black Mamba, whatever swoop. And this is the Power of the Primes Grimlock. And they are just about the same size. Swoop's a little bit shorter. All the limbs are just like a hair shorter, and it matches better. Like in the cartoon, the Dinobots are all pretty much the same size,
Yeah.
except for Swoop, who's just a hair shorter, hair smaller. So for me, I have the four oversized knockoff Dinobots hanging out with my Power of the Primes Grimlock, so they all look pretty okay on a classic style shelf. And my Slag is over there getting repainted because he had the black helmet. I wanted him to have the cartoon accurate with the red helmet and the white doodly doos by his face, and
Technical
I'm
term.
redoing the gold.
Technical term.
Yeah, technical term, the doodly doos. Yeah.
I
So
remember you
once,
put pictures of those together, and I was just like, that totally works. Like, I will always hate the Grimlock from that set,
So
so I don't
bad.
want to own it.
So terrible.
But
yeah,
but if I get a chance, I might just end up buying the red one and the blue one so I can have the original three
go for it.
robots from that set just to put them together and not worry about the fact that I'm missing the other two for the combiner because who cares? And owning a pink Slash wouldn't be a bad thing either. So 'cause they made the oversized Slash that Peter held up earlier, they made in pink, which again doesn't match anything as far as Power Rangers goes, but it's still, I mean, it's Slash, which is a great toy, and it's
It's
pink,
something
which is a
fun. It's
color.
something. Yeah. Wasn't Christian buying multiples and painting them in different colors?
He did,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. There was a person who whoever it is that sells like really fancy customs at the beginning of TFCon, it's someone that a lot of people are familiar with. I can't remember who it was, but they did 3 slashes in the colors of the first 3 Abba Rangers / Power Rangers Dino Thunder characters and sold them at the beginning of the show. And I tried to catch them before someone else bought them because
Was
I
it,
would love to have those to go with these because it would be so cute together. But are
was it
excited or
maybe
good.
Grimlockamus?
Probably. I think that's
Okay.
probably it. Probably.
Because his stuff sells out like whoop,
Right.
before the
Yeah.
show starts.
Well, it was
Always.
my first time. It was my first time knowing about any of this.
I mean, if you're on,
Where is the metal in this thing, Peter? I know that the box says that it has metal in it, and this thing weighs like
They're
half a
they're
ton.
heavy.
So
Yeah.
there has to be metal in this
the
thing.
pins, the screws.
Think,
It's heavier than that. I think it's maybe the backside of the torso. I don't know. I'd have to fiddle with it.
Huh.
Yeah, I couldn't quite find it. Like I couldn't just like touch it and find the cold parts like I usually do with metalish figures. So
I mean,
anyway, it's super cool to me.
yeah, if you're only going to get one from the Power of the Prime Dinobots, I think Swoop is by far the winner. I think, and Slash is cool just because it's new and it's different. You know, it's not like the toy's amazing by any means, but it's fun in that respect. But yeah, like
It's a new G1 character that isn't like ham-fisted and
it's not Drift.
I don't know. It's not Drift. I didn't want to say
I knew
that
immediately where
specifically,
people
but
like. I like Drift these days, but it took,
years.
it took better writers to make me like Drift. You know.
Yeah, it took Roberts.
Yeah.
Not McCarthy. It took Roberts. It's just like Windblade. Windblade was like, hey, here's Windblade. And it was like, okay. And for me anyway. And then it took some time. It took actually Cyberverse for me to start liking Windblade because I didn't like where she went in the IDW verse.
Cyberverse does help with Windblade, for sure. I agree with that. I've been watching more Cyberverse lately.
Oh, I love Cyberverse. It's great. It's too
it's
bad it's
fun.
ending.
Yes, it's cute.
Yeah, Swoop I like quite a bit. But like I got rid of the Grimlock. I couldn't take it. And like I said, I was never going to combine them.
So
I never
bad.
did. And the rest of the Dinobots are fine. They feel a little small. That's where, the oversize I think comes into play, but they're fine. I don't hate them. It was great that they did the whole set because they haven't done the full Dinobot team in forever. Yeah,
But I mean, maybe keep your eyes peeled. We'll see what the studio series has coming down the pipe.
oh yeah,
Maybe.
that's right. Yeah, we got Grimlock coming. We'll see where they go.
And some sort of slag, whether it's AOE slag or
Well,
86 slag. Who knows?
well, the question is, would they do? Which one was not in the movie? Was it Sludge? It's not in the
Snarl.
or Snarl. Yeah, that's only like in one frame.
He's in 2 different scenes, right when Autobots prepare to board the shuttles. Numinous is more dangerous than all Decepticons put together, and then when the Quintesson ship is landing on the planet of Junk in robot mode, you can see him through the windows as it's landing.
So it's like, is he there? Kinda.
He's there in both modes. He's there in more modes than some other characters who are in there.
That's true, but he's only in there for like 4 frames.
Facts.
All right, cool. So, Peter.
Okay. What did we do? Oh, so okay. I did something. Oh, I went on a shopping spree looking for Cyber Battalion figures, and I don't have any of those here to show off because they're not worth showing off. But while I was doing that, I found a bunch of reflectors at the Walgreens that I was hitting. So Cyber Battalion are the simplified, really chunky for little kids robots, and so I bought those and mopped up what I could there. They've been out for a couple of years, but I found reflectors, and I hadn't purchased a full set of reflectors from Siege because I have the Papa Toys versions, and they were fine. It's like an oversized knockoff of the Perfect Effect reflectors that came out in 2011 or
Yeah,
whatever.
those are old.
So they're old, yeah, and I loved them. They were, but they're so small. So those look good in a Legends collection because they're, half the size of the Seekers or whatever. If you have a Legend size Seeker, so when the Seekers, deluxes, blah blah blah, the reflectors look small to me. So we had deluxe Seekers for a long, long time, and I had these oversized knockoff reflectors. But now we've got Voyager Seekers in my classic shelf, so I needed a slightly larger reflector to have that size disparity, which scale's a big thing. Anna's looking at me like, what? And yeah, my brain breaks with scale issues.
Yeah, because it doesn't exist. As much as I love scale,
Right.
which frame?
That's a big problem. Yeah. So I got multiple reflectors. I already had one sealed, so then I got 3 more that I could open up and play with. And I've been running around chasing my family with my fake camera, just like I chased my family when I was 6 years old and I had my mail away reflector. I'm like, hey, I'm taking pictures of you, and they're just like, go away.
I did
Um,
that too, but people said it was cute when I did it.
I'm never cute. So anyway, so I'm playing with the other reflector, and then I decided that I needed to go find some scrap faces. So I went and hit all the Walmarts, and I masked up and did everything I'm supposed to do, and I got a scrap face. I already had one scrap face sealed, but you would not believe how hard it was to find. Well, you probably would. Another scrap face to open and play with. So this guy, he's open, he's here, he's whatever. Uh, he's just fine. I'm going to open up the 3-pack now because I bought 2 3-packs from last year's Siege exclusive thing, and then I just never opened the second 3-pack because, yeah, I'll get to this eventually. So
Such a good set.
I
I don't buy much
going
mainline, and that's like one of my favorite things they've done recently.
It's a
And I'm
good set.
and I'm going to open it. So now I will be able to, enjoy it like you guys have enjoyed it. So I'll have my 3 regularly colored reflectors. I'll have the 3 toy colored reflectors. I'll have scrap face, and everyone will just kind of hang out in the 84, 85
So
section.
did you buy 3 scrap faces then? Like,
Maybe.
okay. So you're going to make us...
I didn't open the others yet,
Yeah.
but yeah.
The plan is...
The plan is, so then, yeah, the scrap faces and the toy color reflectors are going to hang out with the Rainmakers and those guys. And then the 3 purple reflectors are going to hang out with Starscream and the Nemesis crew. And then I'm going to get the add-on kit from Go Better, which has the toy-style weapons.
Yep.
Yeah, like the Gen 1 toy-style
Yep.
weapons. So I might get 2 of those kits, 3. But we'll start with one. We'll start with one and see how it feels, and go from there.
That is a lot of that reflector mold. I'm content with just the one toy
Yes.
set exclusive.
There were a
If
lot
he's-
in the show, not of
If he's there,
Scrapface, but of that
exactly,
mold.
exactly. He's there to fill crowd scenes. So let's have him fill out those scenes.
But they didn't use him to fill out the scenes. They could have so easily
They
done
did.
it, and they didn't.
They did. They did it for the first 5 or 6 episodes, and then he just kind of
But none of them are scrap face.
faded away. No, not Scrapface. No. That's okay. There were randomly colored reflectors floating around.
All over. Millions.
There were randomly colored Rumbles and Frenzies floating around. Not to mention Seekers. There was weird stuff in the first few episodes.
Yeah.
The paint on those things just pisses me off. I just have to say that. Like, I just get so frustrated when I see how good that paint is. Because that thing is nobody to me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he doesn't have a characterization in the show now. I thought maybe that might make me go back and get one. Didn't get one. I like the reflector character that I have from childhood, which is the toy colors. So I have that on the shelf. I don't like the way the shoulders work on the figure, so I couldn't tuck myself into that. But then that paint job is just like, I want to own that paint.
It really
So
pops. They
pretty.
did a
Yeah.
really good job, but he's a nobody.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. This probably be the last toy I have time for tonight, and I still have 4 more on-topic toys to talk about. Oh man. I'll go with a different company. I'll go with one of my fans' toys that came in. I got in Hunk. Not the only fans' toys things I got in, but it's who I want to talk about. This is their not Brawn, obviously, who definitely looks like a Ninja Turtle. Since was it New Age did that set where they're legends? Or,
Yeah.
A Legends.
and, I mean, Ninja Turtle 2, he's green with yellow chest. It's totally...
Perfect for a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
Did you end up getting those Ninja Turtles, by the way?
I did not, because I didn't want to buy 4 of
Neither
them.
did I. I know, we should have split it.
We should
Because I would take 1
Yeah.
or 2 even.
Yeah. We should have. If we ever have a convention again and we see it there...
Yeah, we would definitely
We'll buy
buy
it
it together
and
and
we'll
split
split
it. Then it would be so like it would be the thing that ties us all together. All I need Ninja Turtles for the same set.
Yeah. He's pretty decent. I think he's better than some of the more recent Fans Toys releases. And not like any of them are bad, but I have felt that it's weird because Fans Toys was so good at staying either ahead of the curve or on the curve. I still think Takara sets a lot of articulation and even some engineering feats on the curve. And, Fans Toys engineering is pretty hit or miss. Their Dinobots are excellent, which was one of the first things they did. Everything in their movie line's pretty terrible as far as transformation goes. But then, the rest of their stuff is hit or miss. His transformation's pretty good. The only thing I don't like about it is his hips slide forward and back for part of the transformation. It's just, there's a hole in his crotch, and it's just the legs are together with a peg, and you just scoot it back, right? And it's just it's just friction. So it's one of those where it looks like kind of like an infinity symbol of hole. You just got to force it past the nub, and it it stays in place when you get it there. And then it's one of those I was like, I see the groove there, but I don't think that wants to go. So again, I'm not using instructions, but it's like I'm gonna look at some video reviews to see if people move that part before I break this thing. And it's like,
And then you hear that clack when they do it, and you're like, oh, okay, then that's fine. It's fine. If they can do it, then I can do it.
yeah, it's still not fine. I mean, it does it, it works, but it does not give you the feel goods. Um, Other than that, though, the transformation was fine. It's not bad at all. I mean, I think it's a good transformation if you're into masterpiece style transformations, which means is it quick like the MMC toy? No. Or is it quick like any modern line stuff? Absolutely not. It's more involved than that, but it's not too bad. If you like masterpiece style transformations, it's pretty intuitive. The rest of it flows pretty good. Um, the way the feet work is pretty unique in that. I mean, and you can tell it here. This is probably like an aesthetic complaint is that it looks like he has two big toes because of the way the leg is split. But it makes
'Cause he's a turtle.
because he's a turtle.
It's a turtle, yeah.
But it
That's all right.
but it makes for a pretty neat transformation how the leg splits in half and then folds up on the sides to become the panel. So that's pretty neat. Kind of one of those like masterpiece style moments that usually fan toys just gives frustration style moments.
Didn't iGear start that idea that the legs split in half? They were like the front wheels, back wheels, and they like popped, folded
Yeah.
together. Yeah, that was the iGear one. Rager.
Yeah,
Wasn't it
yeah,
Rager?
Okay.
No, that's not his name. His name is
Rager's Hover.
because Rager was
That was
the
Hover.
yeah
Rager's
Huffer.
Oh, okay. Well, whoever their
He
bronze
doesn't
was.
need a name.
Yeah.
It was Braun. It's like still my favorite Braun, so I have him.
I finally sold
It's
him
really cool.
not too long ago. That's another Cassie Stark design, who's done everything KFC did, and they did tons of MMC stuff. They don't design anymore, but
Mhm.
he did like seriously 80% of third party for several years.
It's a really good design. I really like it for Outback. People complain about it being the wrong colors, but I actually like it.
I still have that as my Outback, and I upgraded
It's
it
the
with
best Outback.
yeah. I did a head swap or something from the Headmaster figure and got an adapter to replace that. It was a whole thing. Yeah, so my bronze over there.
Yeah. Other than that, it's pretty good. It feels really solid. I really like the colors. Some people don't. I like the muted colors more. But I mean, it's not completely muted because all the green is pretty flat, which is nice. But it is all paint. But then the chest is kind of shiny. So they're kind of trying to meet that middle from people that like stuff kind of shiny, and then the people that want the more cartoon style flats. Um, his articulation doesn't have some of the problems the later ones have. It does have some issues though. Like there's no butterfly joint, which again, not the biggest problem. The elbow joint is pretty weak for modern day, but he's a small dude. I don't know, it's fine. It really doesn't bother me that much. Knees are good, even though it destroys the sculpt, but they get you plenty. Um, the waist does articulate. It is so tight though. It's starting to loose up though. But you get it there, but then the back gets in the way, which you can kind of lean out and get a little more. But so I think it's fine. The head articulation is probably the worst. This whole panel though rotates, which is kind of nice, but you're only going to get about that much. You rotate it for transformation all the way around, but then trying to rotate the head in front of the panel is extremely difficult, and you can do it. I mean, I got him looking to the side here because he's "Arr" with his yelling face, but it's really difficult. Whatever.
So he does come with a yelling face.
Yes.
So that's
yeah, I was going to get to
good.
that because I know Anna, you love alternate faces, and
Yeah, I've only seen that like really boring default face he comes with, and every time I look at the figure, I'm like, "Ooh, I think that looks cool." And then I see the face, I'm like, "Oh, it looks like garbage. Oh well, I won't buy that ever." But maybe this face will change how I
he
feel.
has a yelling face. I like to put the more. I mean, some characters I think look good with a stoic face, but if they come with alternate face, I usually try to jazz it up a little bit. As long as they're not a pain in the ass to swap out. Other than that, he doesn't come with a lot of accessories, which again is opposite of how Takara and X Transbots is going, where they are both just loading it up with accessories. So he comes with like an alternate face. He comes with a gun, which is boring, but it's a gun. It's fine. And he comes with the drill thing you can plug onto the front when he's in Jeep mode. For that thing from one episode, as Bobby Skullface says, which I don't remember at all. He's got his tire on the back. Tires are rubber, like you would expect. It's good stuff though.
It was the Ultimate Doom Part 2.
I inherently believe you.
Yeah, and I believe that particular gun is the one that he used when he blasted Shockwave either at the end of the Ultimate Doom Part 2 or at the beginning of Ultimate Doom Part 3.
So no,
And this guy has waist swivel
they're basically the same.
for no reason.
Basically the same.
They're the same toy. Same toy. They both turned to GP looking things, and yep.
So I replaced my Bad Cube Brawny with this guy, and which I honestly I don't hate that figure. It's a little overly engineered, like a lot of Bad Cube stuff is. Like so, there's no denying there. But it has served well on my shelf for many a year. But when Fans Toys remolds and re-releases this as Outback, I will swap out my Bad Cube Outback as well. So he's a he's a cool toy. I don't know. He's good. I think he's better than some of the more recent releases have. And the articulation's not as janked. And I don't know. It's just solid. I don't think it had any of the breakages reported that some of the other ones have had as well. But a lot of that was like Warpath's knees or whatever. Like a lot of people were breaking them. But that's really more of a mistransformation. But, good engineering also makes it less likely that people are going to break it because it's more intuitive. You can make that argument. Whatever. No, he's really solid. So if you're into Masterpiece stuff, then you probably already bought it. Because Fans Toys has been churning out toys this year, at least since,
Finally.
But what they've been doing is they've been doing smaller runs to get through their backlog because they got such a deep backlog, which a lot of people are like, oh, they're making artificial scarcity. It's like, no, they're just running another toy. So if you don't get in early on some of the pre-orders have been selling out. And then it's immediately made all the Fans Toy stuff go up in value, which has made older Fans Toy stuff go up even more in value. I think, eventually Fans Toys will catch up and then maybe start reissuing some stuff here and there, to fill down times. But,
do you think they'll ever get to their Blitzwing or their Trailbreaker?
As long as the world doesn't explode, yes.
I like your answer.
Like when I don't know, but like honestly, I love X-Transbots.
The Trailbreaker
and Hoist. Yeah, and since they did the cartoon version of Trailbreaker already, and I love it, and they're coming out with the cartoon colors of Hoist soon. So like I'm not really interested in the Fans Toys one. Like I'm sure it'll come out or whatever, but I actually like X-Transbots engineering these days, pretty much top to bottom. They've gotten so 598 Robots has gotten so much, I think, better at it. He's really come a long way. That I probably won't bother with the Fans Toys. And then the Blitzwing, we'll see. I have KFCs. I upgraded
you got the knees. I remember that.
Yeah, so it's some of the colors are a little off, like they're just like the wrong shades. So it's like I'm not like one of those like, oh man, finally a real Blitzwing. Like I think that Blitzwing is pretty good. It's not that bad, but I'm definitely all about their Astro Trains.
Mm-hmm.
So if their Astro Train comes out and just is actually really fun and intuitive, that might be enough to talk me into the Blitzwing once it sees the light of day. But yeah, I think it'll happen eventually. I just don't know if I'll buy them or not. The checklist is checked, and it's happily checked. It's not like, oh, that's so far off model, and it's a pure placeholder. It's like, no, I think it's pretty good, but we'll see. All right, so we've been going for an hour 10. Do we want to call it? Do y'all want to do a speed round? I probably won't do another round. I'll just save the rest.
I have one more thing I'd really like to do, and then I can be done after that. Like I usually want to be the one who wants to go short, but I just really wanted to cover this one thing. And it's connected, right? Because this is a Dinobot, and then it's also a Dinobot. So, I got something that I have been considering getting forever that doesn't need a stand because it's big enough. You may recognize this as the MP Grimlock mold. I got a Reximus Prime, which is a slight upscale of the MP Grimlock toy, which I am super excited about having because he is enormous. If anyone's unfamiliar with the comparison, just to see.
Oh, thank you.
And they're there holding hands.
Have you? So, how long have you had Masterpiece Grimlock?
I've had
like how familiar are with that toy?
I've had Masterpiece Grimlock for probably like 4 years.
Okay. So you already knew that that's like an excellent design.
Yes, it is absolutely an excellent design. Yeah, it's a really good toy. It's simple. It's fun. It's like one of my favorite MP figures because it is close enough to Cartoon Grimlock in both modes and it's still actually fun to play with and transform. It's not a pain in the butt, so I've really liked it.
I mean, it was also revolutionary for its time. Like
Absolutely.
the way that the tail folded into the legs and the feet was one of those mind blowing masterpiece moments that like I was like, holy crap, that is so awesome. And now almost every Grimlock toy does it. You know what I mean?
If you
It's
want a
become
really big
standard now
tail.
for
And
Dinobots.
anything with a tail does it now.
Yes,
It's set the norm. Yeah.
His butt is
yeah,
very big.
I know how he feels.
Big dinosaur butt. So yeah, I did not know how big this thing was. Like I was not quite aware of just how absolutely massive this thing is. Just to kind of put it in scale, if anyone has any of the Gigasaurs, which are the absolutely ridiculously big third-party Dinobots, he is pretty much right the same size as my one Gigasaur. So, because I have a Snarl, and
So he's larger than Fans Toys
I think he's a
masterpiece
little bit
Dinobots.
bigger than Fans Toys, yeah, because
Yeah.
he's just a teensy bit smaller than my Snarl. Like he's not
Okay.
much shorter than him in robot mode. I haven't compared them in dinosaur mode yet, but I mean they're two different animals, so it won't be as easy to compare them as when they're both
Yeah.
in bot modes. But this thing is just, it's enormous. It does pretty much everything the original did, for the most part. Like it is very, very sufficient in. We have another dinosaur is into the party.
Yeah, this is the Fans Toys one. I don't know. I don't have a Masterpiece Grimlock sitting around, so I can't compare. But he's this big.
Yay!
I I have
Excellent. You have your
I have them
oh,
both.
Hades. Yeah, yours is in robot mode. Mine's in bird mode. 'Cause you have your swoop around, but
Yeah,
there we go. You have a micromaster.
this is Micromaster. The micro. Here is robot or whatever.
There's it. Yes.
There's,
Yeah.
I don't know. This is
See, I
about an
got
inch and a half tall, and so I put this at about 10 inches in Dino mode.
Still
10 or 11
yeah, I
inches.
have Fans Toys Grinder, but he's in robot mode, as well as the Masterpiece Grimlock in robot mode, but I got the Marvel colors on it. But like they're at opposite ends of the room.
so the idea on this guy was to get him up to the masterpiece scale, so to actually
Yeah.
have him stand by Optimus or another character without looking small, because the original MP Grimlock looks small compared to everything that's come out recently.
Oh
And
yeah.
he does look right with them. He looks good with them. He looks a lot better. Like you could argue maybe he's still too small in some places, but who cares? It's fine.
Pick a different cell
Right,
of the animation.
exactly. This
Yeah.
thing is huge. It's massive. It does have a few things that I didn't know about that are kind of downgrades. There's a few places on the robot mode where there's not as much paint. You can see one on the animal dog dinosaur mode that these two parts here have red stripes on them, or white stripes with a red. Yeah, white stripes with a red stripe inside on the original. I can show you.
Did did you put those stickers on there, or did they come like
I
that?
did not. This came used. I think I am the third owner of this.
Okay.
So one problem I do have with this figure, as I own it, I don't know if other people have this experience or not, is mine is pretty loose. Um, he's not too loose in his legs. Like for dinosaur mode, it's not really going to affect him. For robot mode, the feet, the feet are kind of complicated, as we talked about, and they kind of don't like to stay together. Once you get them in a pose, it's fine, but when you play with them, they like to kind of flop around. So it's a little frustrating. But like I said, I'm probably the third owner on this thing, so it's not like it came that way out of the box from what I know. It's just kind of worn over time. And something I noticed is the original has that cool little thing where the Autobot symbol slides up into place when you transform him into robot mode, in the middle of his chest, and this doesn't have that. And that's why he actually has another Autobot symbol, just put on to where his chest would be in robot mode, which doesn't look perfect since that's clear, but it does the trick okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, plus he may never go back to robot mode because I don't think my MP Grimlock had been in robot mode in like 2 years at least. Like I like him as a dinosaur. Like that's the dinosaur form.
Yeah, right now my Fans Toys are in robot mode, but they were in dinosaur mode for a long time as well. It's kind of like my Beast Wars right now. Most of my Masterpiece Beast Wars, most of them are in animal mode, and it's the Dinobots and Beast Wars were both like it were. They spent a lot of time in their alternate mode. Like, yeah, sure, there were scenes where Optimus Prime and the convoy drove out, in robot mode, but they were pretty quickly out of robot mode, after that. But a lot of the memories from the cartoon are They're in their dinosaur mode.
Yeah,
They're doing
absolutely.
stuff in it. They're biting stuff.
They
Yeah.
like being in their dinosaur mode.
Season
Yep.
3, they only showed up in robot mode a couple of times. Season 2 is when they were, you know, more in robot mode.
Does he have the eye changing gimmick as well?
He does.
From
He
those?
does. He still has the eye changing gimmick in both modes.
That's so much fun.
Bloop, bloop.
You know, he could have red eyes, which is funny because I don't like the red eyes in the dinosaur mode. They have to be blue, but then I like the red eyes in the robot mode. They have to be red. So
You are doing it right.
that's the way it has to be for me. Because I don't know, the blue eyes go with the like weird, cute version of him from the movie, and then the red eyes look like the toy I always had.
So, do you know if does yours have, or did it originally come with like all the ridiculous accessories Masterpiece Grimlock came with?
As far as I know, it only comes with the sword, the gun, and the crown.
I mean, those are the important ones, but
Yes.
I think he had like a cape and a serving tray, or not a cape, sorry, an apron.
I would love to have that serving tray. I don't have a copy of the serving tray. I would love to have it because it's so preposterous. But
It's a ridiculous accessory from a
nothing
ridiculous
sacred,
scene.
Paul. Thank you. I'll ask about my one character rule. I am getting rid of my MP Grimlock. Like he's going away. He's getting replaced with this because this is bigger and cooler, and I gotta fix his eyes. They're not supposed to be red.
I mean, that's why I love the toy so much. That's why I bought the Marvel colors of it. But like once I had the Fans Toys one,
Yeah.
I didn't have a need for the ring. But I was like, but I want the toy. It was so, and it's like, oh man, the Marvel color one's perfect. It's on my oddball masterpiece shelf.
To get this in a random trade, and I thought, you know, why not? I'll just try it and see if I like it. If not, I'll sell it on eBay, and if I do like it, I'll sell the other one on eBay. So, if anybody's looking for this guy,
hit up Anna. She's got one.
I do have one, and he's in really good shape because I play with all my toys constantly except my MP stuff because I'm always afraid. Like, it just costs too much. I'm always afraid I'm going to break it, but everything else is all worn out because I play with it a lot.
I broke my Fan Toys Scoria.
Oh no.
Yeah. I was doing something and like I was trying to like position the wings, but you can't position the wings in robot mode and just went, oh, shit. That's not supposed to do that.
You know, it's all going to turn to dust again. We all come from space dust. We all go back to space dust.
Woo!
And I don't know. We're here to enjoy them. I've gotten to where no one wants to break it, but like now, if I am playing, it's like, well, oh well. I'll glue it if I can. You know, otherwise I'm not gonna lose my shit over it. I played with it and I enjoy it, and it'll probably be fine when I put it back on the shelf. Anyways, you know, it's not as end of the world.
You can't tell in Dino mode.
Exactly.
That's the way.
You can hide it.
I have no idea if the electronics work on this guy, by the way. I don't know if they work on it originally. I don't know if they work on mine. I don't care. I'm never going to play with the electronics.
Oh, that's right. He did the light up thing, right?
Yeah, the thing that ruined one of his robot mode hands.
Yeah. That was weird.
It made a hideous hand, yeah. But this is the mode he's supposed to be in anyway, so I'm good with it.
All right. Well, did you want to go with anything else, Peter?
I'm going to let it end on that. That's a high note, and let's do that.
Yeah.
It's high note. It's super fun.
Well, thank you, everybody, for giving us a listen and joining us in. You know, we had Zaldron and John, and then, you know, this Lucas jerk, and, you know, Paul, and probably some other people sprinkled in there. So, you know, thanks for joining us, and, you know, we'll be back in 2 weeks with more Ouchies of the Wallets. As always, if you enjoy us and like what we do, you can hit us up on Patreon at patreon.com/TFYLP. Of course, we have a Discord server. The links are in the description. We have a Facebook group and a Facebook page. You know, we're all over the place. All the social medias, if you you know, want to chat us up and hit us up and just, you know, be a nerd. Make sure to check out on Friday is Cut the Tape. That's Rick's pre-recorded show. On Monday nights we have our bread and butter show, TFYLP itself. You know, live here on YouTube at 8:30 Central. Tuesday nights, Microcasters live on Facebook at 8:30, and then again every 2 weeks, Ouch My Wallet here on YouTube. I think that's all of our plugs. I think I got them. Yeah, so I'll definitely have to make sure to grab people for the next show in 2 weeks because I only got through half my stuff. I still got a bunch more goodies. So, any parting thoughts? Are we out?
Lucas just outed my repugnant collection. to be revealed.
Would you say it's repugnant?
It's beautiful. They're so cute.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, and we will see you in the next show.